dude, if you're a guy like Bregman who had a nice year and you have a shot to get a deal, this is what you want. So he's going to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
So if the Tigers are the team that's the highest bidder, I believe you'll see Alex Bregman as a Detroit Tiger.
I agree with that.
And I'm in love with the good life. Can't give it up. Make it to the top. Keep climbing. I wanna live it up. The good life. I'm coming up. I'm coming up. The good life. Good life. Oh, good life. Good life. Good life. Good life.
Boom! Coming in hot, Chinchy. What's going on,
I got
bro?
an identity crisis today.
I was going to say, that's what I
I got a
thought.
Yankee sweatshirt and I ran upstairs. I'm like, oh, let me throw a hat on. And the only hat up there is just this Mets hat. So I'm wearing a Yankee shirt and a Mets hat. And I hope my family doesn't see this because they're going to be so.
I know, dude, you must be torn because the Mets are help paying the bills.
Yep.
And the Yankees are in your heart.
And the Mets,
You know what I mean?
the Mets took one of the best players off of my team and put him on my wife's team. So that's a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, it's still good.
Took two of the best players.
That's true.
Two All-Stars last
That's
year.
true.
Clay Holmes.
Yes, Clay. Oh my God, you're right. Now, meanwhile, there's everybody's favorite Met right now on the Mets. It's like everybody online is saying we need to just get Pete back. Just bring him back. Just bring him back, dude. There are rumors. I actually talked to an insider who shall be remain nameless, who actually told me he doesn't even think the 3 years, $90 million was accurate.
It's real.
So, couple things. Let's start with him. What's his options? What are you doing if you're him, and how do you feel about it? Let's start there, I guess.
Wow, that's a great question. You know what? It makes me think of last year, Chinch. What did Bellinger get? 3 years, 80? Coming off
Right.
a pretty good year. Got 3 years, 80. A guy that's a Gold Glove first baseman, Gold Glove center fielder, a guy that hits for power. You know, hit for a high average. You know, that year that he was coming off, it got 3 for 80. I still believe Alonso is one of the premier power guys in the game, and power is tough to get. It just is, man. There's not even though he hit 34 homers, that's not a lot of guys hitting 34 homers. He's still doing that, playing 162. So I think there's still a lot of value in Pete Alonso. I just also feel like if this is where the market's going to be, and it's not going to be 5 or 6 years like he wants. Obviously, too, bro, when you have Scott Boras, too, he's working behind the scenes. He's working different teams. There's probably a few teams out there that no one knows about, you know, in the market. So I think about if it's all even, though, Pete Alonso would be crazy to go somewhere else, man. The Mets are going to offer what they offer, but there is something to be said about being comfortable, about really, you know, feeling like, okay, this is home. I've been here 6 years. I know where I'm going to be living. I know where to drive into the park. I know, you know, all that stuff is really a big deal. So, you know, if I'm Pete Alonso and the offers are similar out there, and it's somewhere 3 or 4 years, man, I think you really got to think about going back to the Mets if there is an offer out there for him. And you're saying you don't know if 3 for 90 is real. I could see that being true. But it's got to be somewhere close to
Right. I would say, yeah. It's got to be around somewhere between like 25 and 30 million a year for him. Now, let me play the Mets. I'll play the Mets. Irregardless, is it regardless or irregardless? We'll figure that out. But like,
Irregardless.
of how he had a down year last year. The guy is playing in the biggest market. Some guys can't play in big markets, right? Had a rough year, horrible year. Guess what? He almost carried them to and through the playoff run. The guy gets humongous hits. Even when he's been 0 for his last 25, he'll hit that home run for you. And like you said, only one other human being has hit more home runs than him in the last like 5 or 6 years, and his name is Aaron Judge.
Yeah,
That's it.
Right.
That's it. It's not even close after the two of them. So,
Right. And I also think Pete's a better hitter than I think last year was a down year average wise. I think he's a better hitter than what he's kind of shown the last couple of years. You know, I know it's been a lot. It's been more you know, power or bust. I think there's a better hitter in there too. And like I said, I know defensively people want to get on him, but this guy's the best picker in the game. He scoops everything, man. He's by a pretty far margin too. So, you know, I think if somebody gets him, man, they're going to get. I think the number's right. I think he's got 3 or 4 really good more years
Yeah, before,
And not to say he doesn't have
right.
5, 6, 7, but I don't think teams are willing at this stage to go to that 6, 7 years. I don't think I think 4 years for Pete's going to be. I think that's what he probably wants. 4 years, and I think it seems like right now a lot of teams are willing to go for 3
Yeah.
at maybe a little less than the money that he wants.
Yeah, so give me an option. Give me 3 and an option. I think that's where his brain should be at. And also, by the way, the last thing I'll say on this one before we move on to the next guy is I think it's so interesting how they say, oh, he's this age, so he's going to break down. You can say that about some guys, but this guy is playing 162 games, dude. He's playing every game, every year. How does that Oh, well, he's going to break down then. No, he plays more games than anybody else in baseball.
And dude, he doesn't run fast enough to break down.
Good
Seriously.
point. Great point. Yeah,
He doesn't run fast enough to. Oh, there goes the hammy. If he stays mobile and with some recovery, he's foam rolling. He's in the cold plunge. He's in the hot
dude,
tub.
look at Giancarlo Stanton. He can't even walk some days, but he can hit homers for you. Like you're not looking for Stanton.
No, seriously, dude.
Yeah.
And look what the Yankees were last year when Stanton was out of the lineup. They were, dude. He was a factor. And the bottom line is, he hits the ball out of the ballpark. You're paying Stanton $30 million a year, $30-some million a year. Alonso's playing first base for you.
Exactly. You're not clogging your DH up.
You're basically getting Stanton production. Maybe you're getting more than Stanton production, and you're paying Stanton $30-some million right now. I mean, and also too, if I'm the Mets, I look at that lineup. I go Lindor, MVP candidate, Soto, MVP candidate, both lefties. I throw Alonso in there. We got a different. That's a different ball.
That's a great point.
And those guys make him better. Look what Soto did for Judge, and look what Judge did for Soto. It's the same deal here. You got Alonso and Soto sitting there, a power guy with a guy that gets on base. You're now seeing more fastballs if you're Alonso. Alonso becomes a better player.
Dude, look at the champs, man. Mookie's better. Oh, Shohei's better, and Freddie Freeman are all better for playing with each other. They're just better.
Right.
And so,
well, you got to navigate a three-headed monster. That's not easy. You got to navigate that gauntlet right there. Lindor, Alonso, Soto, or however you want to piece that together, like Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, whatever you got to piece together. That's a gauntlet.
right.
You got Soto. That the reason Soto, he wears you out. Mm-hmm. It's good at bat after good at bat. It's if you're on deck or you're watching the ball game, you're seeing how guys are trying to attack certain guys. You're wearing guys down. They don't want to pitch to him, so they're going to pitch to Alonso. There's that first pitch heater, 3-run bomb. Judgy did it last year. Judgy had one of his best years, and a lot of it was because of Soto.
Mm-hmm.
And Soto, don't forget, Soto had one of his best years. A lot of it because of Judgy.
There you go.
There's that protection in the lineup. Yeah. So if you're the Mets, I'm thinking, okay, let's get this done. Now that we're talking like this, Jim, I'm more convinced they need Alonso back in that lineup. We
just sold ourselves on it, and everybody else. Yeah. I agree. You talk about a three-headed monster, right? There used to be a three-headed monster called Altuve, Bregman, and Correa. Now, here's a cool thing. By the way, Correa's name has been popping up, but that's different. Let's stop and go Bregman. Detroit Tigers interested, and that sounds really smart to me because we forget almost how great of a year they had last year with their bullpen being their sharpest tool in the shed.
Right.
You add Alex Bregman to that lineup, it's a pretty good lineup, I think.
Well, they need bats, dude. I don't think they can get by with what they did last year. I mean, you go look at a lot of those guys are below. Most of that lineup was below a 700 OPS. I mean, Riley Green was good. Cole Keith was good, but he had like a 690 OPS. Torkelson was sent up and down. Kerry Carpenter was banged up a lot. The two guys you can really rely on right now are Kerry Carpenter and Riley Green. You add Gleyber Torres to that mix and Alex Bregman, you have officially become a better club. I
forgot about Gleyber.
Now, the only thing about playing in Detroit, Chinch, that's a big park. That's a big ballpark, and Bregman's a big pool guy. Maybe he doesn't hit as many home runs, but his splits were pretty good. And one thing about Bregman, his splits were pretty good home and road. So that could not be true. But at the end of the day, it looks like the Tigers want to pay. They have some money. And to get a guy like Bregman, he feels like, I think Bregman's like, you know what? If the Astros aren't going to pay, guys get one shot at free agency. You really do. You get one shot. I look back at my career. I had a big year in 04, an okay year in 05. And then 06 was my last year of my deal. They had to pick up the 06 option, I believe, after the 04 season. So looking back, I wish I was a free agent after 04 because you get that one shot. After 06, I had a decent year. I signed a one-year deal with the Tigers, and I'm like, That's not what I wanted my free agency to
Right.
be. Bregman has set himself up. These guys have set them like Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres is like, that's not what I really wanted to do for free agency. I have a down year and get a 1-year deal. Dude, if you're a guy like Bregman who had a nice year and you have a shot to get a deal, this is what you want. So he's going to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
So if the Tigers are the team that's the highest bidder, I believe you'll see Alex Bregman as a Detroit
I
Tiger.
agree with that. I think Bregman's in the better position somehow or some way for whatever reason than Pete Alonso is. And one other note, this is pretty cool.
I agree
Thank
with
you.
that.
One other note, as of August 23rd, 2024, the Detroit Tigers had an average age on their team of 26.9 years old, making them the second youngest MLB roster. So again, bring in a guy like Bregman who has won championships and who is a veteran who still has a lot left in his tank. And now you got your leader. Now you got your team leader. It's like buying a captain almost of that roster.
Right.
Remember, we saw it back in the day with those Royals teams. Everybody kept saying the key to those Royals teams was getting like the veteran pitchers to come in and teach the guys how to play baseball the way you know how to play baseball. So something to think about.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, I think listen, at the end of the day, you can have too many young guys. Like, oh, this guy's a young roster. That's not a necessarily good
Right.
thing. You as a young player, you need to be taught how to be a big leaguer. You need to be taught how to navigate at bats. You need to be taught how to get out of situations on the bump when you got traffic on the bases. Like, who the hell am I learning from if I don't have somebody that's been there, done that? You can't teach experience. You need to have experienced guys that can help you out. So when you look at Bregman, couple World Series titles, been to the NLCS pretty much his whole career. You're thinking like Chipper Jones with the Braves every year, going back. Derek Jeter going to the playoffs every year. You put him on a team that's a young team. Even a guy like Riley Green, he's young, couple years in the league. Even Torkelson, these guys, like all of a sudden you bring a guy like Bregman in. Instant leader, instant experience, instant, hey guys, follow me. This is what it looks like to be a pro. And also too, even a guy like Soto last year on the Yankees, the way he, talking to a lot of those guys and talking to guys with the Yankees, the way he navigated in a bat, dude, that elevated Judge. Oh man, look at that. Like it elevated Gleyber Torres. It elevated Wellesley in that line. All the guys that were around Soto go, oh, that's what it looks like. Then you got Judge and Soto navigating the bats like that. Like, oh, that's incredible. You get a guy like Alex Bregman in that lineup to some of those young kids go, let me show you how to navigate a big league at bat. It's not as easy as you think, but if you want to have consistency like I've had it throughout my career, let me
You
show
got a
you.
veteran who's done it before. I mean, look, Luis Hill was a rookie of the year this year. He said he learned how to pitch from Garrett Cole. He learned how to pitch from a veteran. Like, that's it. Like, he gave him all the credit in the world,
Right. That's what I mean. Like, heel stuff's always been great. But all of a sudden, you get a guy like Garrett Cole and say, hey, man, let me tell you how to navigate this guy. Let me tell you how to pitch to this guy. Your strengths are here. We're going to go here against his weaknesses here. Like, dude, if it's not Garrett Cole, a guy that's an elite player, like, then who? Another young guy? Like, is Clark Schmidt telling you how to pitch?
Right.
You're so lucky when you get these veteran experienced guys. Like, dude, I grew up with a guy like Barry Larkin.
Yeah.
Greg Vaughn, Pete Harnish. Some of these guys teach you how to be a pro. I'm like,
How
how
that
more?
99 team, everybody says Greg Vaughn taught us how to be ball players. You say it. You say
Greg
it
Vaughn was the
constantly.
best. He was the best. And dude, I remember Hal Morris. Hal Morris they brought back Hal Morris to back me up at first. Dude, so many things he taught me, taking ground balls over them at first. Hey, when you go to your right, make sure you don't have to make that throw. I remember this. Like, the advice he gave me. Don't make that throw if you don't have to make it. Ball to your right, make sure you get around it, and make sure you hustle over there and make the flip. That's why when I watch first baseman sometimes, I can't stand the lazy backhand, stand up, throw the ball to a running pitcher who's not the best athlete in the world. What are we doing? But I learned that from Hal Morris. I didn't know that. He was like, hey, Case, I'm a gold glover over here. I'm backing you up. But my experience, let me tell you what my experience, 12 years, has taught me. Do not throw this ball if you don't have to. Flip it. And dude, Chinch, I tell you what, from that point on in my career, I probably made 3 throws in the next 10 years. All because I hustled. I made sure I sprinted over to get the flip. Sometimes I would take it myself so I didn't have to even make the flip so it was, one more ball out of the hand to another guy. I don't care if it was an easy flip. So like stuff like that. Barry Larkin teaching me, hey, you get a guy over, you don't have to just get a ground ball the right side. If you're going to drive something to the outfield, that gets him over too. I was like, really? I never heard that. Like, that's big. Greg Vaughn, when he struggled, you didn't know if he was struggling or not struggling. You're like, man, this guy's incredible. Same guy. He knew he needed to be a leader. He knew his attitude was important. He knew he needed to show up. He knew we were all looking at him when we were struggling and when he was struggling as young guys, like, oh, what's Vonnie going to do? Wow, he's the same guy. We don't know if he's over 4 or 4-4. We don't know if he's hitting 120 or 320. Like, that stuff's invaluable. Pete Harness, the way he worked in between starts, you're like, God, this guy's on that Versa climber at another level. Like, remember that Versa climber? Like, this thing was like, I mean, dude, shit, it looked like he was scaling Mount Kilimanjaro. I'm like, what the hell's Harness doing? Is he training to be a freaking hiker? You know what I mean? So, like, that all that stuff was incredible, but I learned that from those guys. And then when I got older, I remember passing something on to Kevin Euclid, when I was in the Boston at the end of my career, and he was just kind of getting going, passing stuff on to the younger guys, Jed Lowry's, and even like Pedroia, stuff that I experienced that I was taught by the veteran guys. So having too many young guys at times, bro, not a good thing. I also think when nowadays they're looking at the 30-year-old player going, he's too old. Careful, because having those guys on the team, you want them to teach your young guys. You want to have a great franchise, you got to teach the young guys how to be pros. That's the ultimate compliment you give. That guy's a pro. How to be pros so they could. You want to have a great dynasty, get veteran guys that are glue guys that can teach these young guys how to play.
All great points. Our good friend Mark DeRosa, last 4 or 5 years of his career, he admittedly wasn't the greatest player, but he was signing deals and making money to literally teams where Toronto Blue Jays. He says they brought me in there to teach the young guys how to play baseball and how to act as professional baseball players, as you say. So there's something to it. I'm glad we're seeing veterans sign with teams, and again, I think we just established in our own heads that the Tigers should really go get Bregman. That'd be great.
They should go get Bregman. Dude, we're making some convincing points to ourselves today. This is great. Yeah, but Bregman should be a Tiger, and Alonso should be a Met.
There you go. End of story. Yeah. And in 2 days, you folks have 2 days left, I believe, to sign up to Breakthrough Pro, correct?
2 days. Well, we have some people
that
the 5th Breakthrough Pro. We do have people that sign up at the last second. But I tell you what, if you want to take your life to another level as far as teaching how to create habits, teaching how to, we one of the things we say is sometimes life's inversely, affected. When you have a protocol for your life of the way you do certain things, especially eat, sleep, moving, and breathing, if you do that at an elite level, usually your stress is at the other level. When your stress is really high, sometimes you start to see your protocol for stuff is low. So there's so many good things you can learn in this 8 weeks. So many things that I've learned over the course of my life. And John Dennis, who's one of my dear friends, who's one of the a savage in life, just such a great human being. And it's a great 8 weeks. So if you feel like you want to get around a great group of people, also to the tribe. We're tribal beings as human beings. We feel like the Breakthrough Pro tribe of the people that are around, the growth mindset of wanting to get better. It's just a great place to be. So if you want to get better and you want to enjoy and meet some good people in your life that are looking to grow too, go sign up for Breakthrough Pro coming up on Sunday night at 7:00 for 8 weeks. And Chich, you can put it's
going to be in the bio. Yeah. First of all, two quick things. One, I saw Sean do this show from my own house once, and it was like, this dude gets after it. Number two, I'm lucky enough to call him a friend, and we've had conversations even over this past week there that he makes me better as a person. And the stuff you do, the reason you're successful in life, Sean, is I think because of a lot of the philosophies you have that you put into this program. So I urge anybody, look, some people hear about programs and they're like, oh, is it real? This is legit. Sean is the best. This is great. It makes people better. It made me better in a lot of things you told me about. So love you, man. Yeah. Go ahead. Get after it. Join it.
I appreciate it, dude. And it's a passion of mine too. I think at this stage of my life, it's more about impacting people and, the way that people have impacted me. So I'm very, very grateful, and I'm looking forward to anybody that signs up Sunday night. It's going to be a great 8 weeks.
Awesome. All right, brother.
All right, brother Chichi. Love you, man. Have a great weekend. What do you got going on this weekend, Andy?
Chilling, man. We've been running around like maniacs, so we're just going to chill out. All right.
Okay, bro. Love you, man. Everyone out there, thanks for listening. We appreciate you. If we don't see you at Breakthrough Pro Sunday night, we'll see you next Monday. See you, man.